with Protest the Hero, Arif and Rody. Now, first of all, congratulations is obviously in order because you guys debuted at #1 your album Fortress. Congratulations, fellas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.
I like how humble you guys are being. I was just asking about it, like, yeah, I debuted at #1, but we weren't really expecting it.
It's funny, people were like, you guys got to get super drunk tonight. And we're like, we get super drunk every night. You can't get drunker than super drunk.
Well, did you guys celebrate? How'd you guys celebrate?
We got super drunk.
Okay. Okay, standard celebration. Now, the album itself kind of has a mystical, kind of spiritual feel to it as far as I was concerned. I was wondering, is there a time period that kind of influenced the album?
Probably from the many mushroom experiences and mushroom scapes that I've experienced in my life. It's born of that. It's born out of that for sure.
Come on, but in terms of like historical references, I mean, when I was reading some of the lyrics and listening to them, a lot of times I was taken back to high school. I felt like I was kind of reading Edgar Allan Poe. Like the stuff is really dense and intelligent.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think we all like, the age of the Mongol hordes when they would just decapitate people and like boil them in, in vats of oil and water and stuff. And, there's something pretty metal about it. But I think it's hilarious that an album that talks about those kind of things could go to #1. It's a victory for open-mindedness,
And the victory for brutality.
Yeah.
The musicianship as well on the album is incredible. I mean, a lot of good guitar solos and whatnot, very technical album. But I was wondering when I started reading it, do you find yourselves to be spiritual guys? I mean, do you guys believe in astrology and things like that? Just looking at all the visuals and reading the lyrics, and there's symbols with every song, and it's kind of broken up into 2 sections. I was wondering.
I don't believe in anything. Anything at all.
Come on, what's the one thing that holds you down then when you have your struggles from day to day?
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up right now. What about yourself, Eric?
Yeah, I think so. I think that there's an underlying, rationality beyond rationale that kind of holds everything together.
He's all book learned and stuff.
I've got my grade 10. Trailer Park Boys? No, I do think there's something that holds it together, and I honestly I think it's the vegetable mind. I think it's mushroom consciousness.
Okay.
I hate to bring that back.
Okay.
I know that's an uncomfortable theme, but I believe it.
Eric's joking around, but Eric is a highly, highly intelligent guy here. Now, Rody, you've been known sometimes to go on stage and say things candidly. Have you ever said anything on stage that's kind of got you into some trouble?
I get in trouble every night I go on. I got a big, stupid mouth, and I don't know, what was the last time I got in trouble? I said something about downloading the album because it leaked before. I got in trouble for that.
Yeah, we had a lot of industry people upset because we said go ahead and download the album. Because ultimately, I mean, we don't really care. I mean, if you download the album, we just want the music to be listened to.
See, I care. Steve Nightingale, London's Big Look. I care. Industry.
I guess that's the constant battle between music and industry, right? In between the bands and industry. But I'll tell you what, I was doing some research for you guys today, and I gotta say I was pretty disappointed. Because you guys are role models for a lot of people out there, and I was listening to an interview, a Matt Murphy interview, and you guys were there, and Rody referred to you, Arif, as a sand N-word.
It was written on the wall.
But still, in the context of watching that interview and doing research, I didn't know it was written on the wall, and as so many people look up to you guys and saying something like that, I felt it was a derogatory term, and I found it pretty offensive. So I was wondering, do you not find that word offensive?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, that's a huge issue to try and get into right now. I'm not offended by it. These are my bros. They've said a lot worse things to me than that. And if I felt that maybe there was some malice or some malicious intent there, maybe I would be upset. But it's my guy, and he's a cracker anyway. I mean, this guy's as craft single Wonder Bread as it gets, and it's fine.
I understand in the context trying to not objectify the word and just use it in general context of society, but you got to think there's pockets of people throughout Canada who don't realize that. We're going to see that and think, oh, what's going on there? You know what I mean?
Why empower those people by giving them that word? I think if we can take it, if we can use it and recognize that it's just a word like anything else, and words, they inherently fail to communicate what we're actually trying to say anyway. So,
what about the history behind that word? They do sometimes fail to communicate, but that word has a lot of substance to it based on the history of the actual word.
Well, just because a word has meant something in the past doesn't change where it's going and what it means today. And I think that words and communication is something that transforms throughout time and will always transform throughout time. And if you can be on the cutting edge of that, then you can create a new word.
I thought it was ridiculous.
Well, let's say, I understand, I guess it was lost in translation. I'm personally offended by it, and hopefully you guys being role models to all those people out there and the incredible music you make can continue to be so.